to my review for Hands of Stone. Hands of Stone is based on a true story, and it is a biopic of a man named Roberto Duran, who is known as the best lightweight champion of all time in boxing. And it's about his life as he grew up in harsh environments, got lost in boxing, and his character arc over time. So, boxing movies are very interesting to me. If you know me, you know I don't really like sports. I'm more into movies, and because of that, I don't really like a lot of sports movies. There are exceptions, such as these two films right here, and I do also like Remember the Titans quite a bit, but besides that, there's not really a lot of sports movies that I like. But Hands of Stone is one that I was interested in a lot because it looked like Rocky. And I am a huge fan of the Rocky series. This is Rocky 1 through 6. I have only seen 1 and 2. I plan to see the other ones soon. And Creed, which just came out last year, is another fantastic boxing movie. For me, boxing movies that I have seen have only been great so far. I have not seen a lot of them, but of the few that I've seen, they've been great. And I'm super interested in seeing Raging Bull when I get the chance to, when I am old enough. So I went to Hands of Stone interested to see it because I really like Robert De Niro. He's one of my favorite actors, and the trailer to me just looked overall good. However, reviews came in that were sort of mediocre, and I pretty much agree with the reviews. I thought that this movie was pretty mediocre. It's just such a messy movie, especially the editing. It's all over the place. It doesn't really have a consistent timeline. It doesn't fit well. It just sort of goes like this and goes all over the place, and it was really hard to enjoy the movie, just sit down and enjoy the movie that way, because it was constantly just hopping here and hopping there, and you didn't really know what was happening sometimes, just because it was, and this is happening, and then we show this, and some things were just shown for too short amount of time, some were shown for too long of amount of time. And that just made the movie feel really, really messy. And I think that had a lot to do with the editing of a movie. This was not a well-edited movie. It jumped over large amounts of time really quickly, and it just wasn't a very well-done movie as far as editing goes. And it's also a very forgettable one. It's not very memorable. It's a fine movie to just go and see, but it's not a memorable one. It's not a movie I will ever really remember seeing. Like a couple of years down the line, if you say, oh, Hands of Stone, I'll need a reminder of what it is, because I will not know what the movie is. I will have forgotten about it, just because it's that type of movie. And it really does lose focus occasionally. Like, here and there, it'll just randomly lose focus, and that was a huge issue with me, because I like for movies to stay on track of what they're doing, and it's okay to go down a rabbit trail a little bit as long as you come back, but not going down a rabbit trail and then eventually coming back through weird ways. So that was a huge issue with me, and also this movie has a really unnecessary fourth act. I mean, I understand that they were telling his life story, and I understand why he was in there, but it felt very unnecessary and very thrown in there. I didn't see why they needed a fourth act to this movie, because by the end of the third act, not the end of the movie, but by the end of the third act, I thought, if they end it soon, close to here, this will definitely be like a 6.5 for me, because it was different from a lot of endings from sports movies if it ended in its third act, but it didn't. It went on, and that was a bit tiring. However, there are quite a few goods about this movie. As much bads there are also about an equal amount of goods. It's a very well shot movie. The cinematography is very good. The boxing scenes feel a little off, but besides that, everything else was just shot really, really well, and it looked really, really good. And the acting from mostly everyone is great. A lot of people said Robert De Niro was weaker in this movie, but obviously he's weaker than some of the roles he's done in the past, but that doesn't mean his performance wasn't still really, really good. And Edgar Ramirez was also fantastic as the character he was depicting. The music was also very, very well done. It was used. It wasn't constantly used. It was in the background a lot, but it fit there very, very well. And the character arc of the main character, how he goes from this huge, confident guy to sort of fail. How he just sort of fails in his life and isn't really successful in the long run. I mean, he he goes through a lot of stuff and he suffers through a lot of things, and his character changes with that. And I thought that was a very well done aspect of the movie, but it didn't really save it. Hands of Stone overall is just really a forgettable movie. I understand why not a lot of people are seeing it, because they did not market the movie well. In fact, I didn't even know it was coming out until last week when it officially came out. I'm like, oh, it's out. Oh, okay. They really didn't market this movie well, but I do think that it is worth a watch. I think I'm giving it a lower score than worth a watch, but I think that this is a fine movie to see. You could go see it, and you'll probably enjoy it. If you're a heavy critic, you may not like it as much, but you may have problems with how messy it is, but if you're just an average fan, it'll be fine. So, in the end, I give Hands of Stone a 5.5 out of 10. Alright movie. Not sure if I'm gonna remember it at all, but it was fine to see in theaters. Alright, that concludes my review. I am Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.